Wrist pain is a common struggle amongst many people who train calisthenics. Whether you're just getting started or you've been training for a while, you're almost bound to eventually come across pain in your wrists. This is especially true during exercises like push-ups or handstands, where you're putting a lot of your body weight on those joints. And while it can be discouraging to deal with this pain when all you want to do is keep practicing your calisthenic skills, do not worry. You can fix most of these issues relatively quickly with just a few strengthening exercises that shouldn't take more than a few minutes before and after your workouts. So let me see if I can help you out. In this video, I'll run you through a simple wrist strengthening routine that I used when I started practicing calisthenics, and this routine solved almost all of my wrist pain within the first week or two of implementing it. Jumping into the first exercise, it's simple wrist rolls. You can clasp your hands together and roll them that way, or roll them individually, whichever feels the most comfortable for you. I personally like to do both to really get those joints warmed up. Do these for at least 30 seconds. Even just doing this one exercise before starting your sets of push-ups or handstands will dramatically affect how prepared your wrists will be and significantly lessen the pain during and after your training. I recommend doing these right before any of your sets, and you can throw them in while you're resting in between sets to keep your wrists warmed up. Moving on to the strengthening exercises, we're going to start by working on the extension of the wrist. Start by kneeling on the ground, placing your hands in front of you, and slowly leaning forward to apply a light amount of pressure on your wrists while they're in that extended position. Continue to apply pressure slowly until you feel a mild amount of discomfort but never pain. When your wrists are hurting during push-ups or handstands, it's likely because the tendons in the joints aren't strong enough to keep up with your muscles. This is where focusing directly on strengthening the wrists through applying small amounts of pressure will help your wrists catch up and no longer hurt once given a heavier load. So be gentle on your wrists and don't push them too far, too fast. You can continue to apply more and more pressure over the coming weeks and months as you feel your body is ready to handle it. But never get to a point where your wrists are hurting again doing these exercises, or we'll be missing the entire point. Hold this pressure for around 30 seconds or so before moving on to the next exercise. You can also pulse back and forth, relieving pressure and then applying it again as feels comfortable. Try applying pressure in a slow circular movement as well. This will cover all the angles of your wrists, preparing the joint to be strong even if it's twisted too far to one side or the other. This can be very useful to avoid injury down the line. The next position you'll want to work on is the flexion of your wrist. Simply reverse the position of your wrists until your palms are facing upward and you're leaning onto the back of your hands. Please be very careful in this position, especially when you're just starting out, as it can be easy to lose your balance and fall forward, putting way too much pressure on your wrists. To lessen the risk of this, widen the distance between your hands and place them closer to your knees. Then, like before, apply a light amount of pressure until you feel a good stretch in your wrists. If placing your body weight on your wrists is ever too much, you can mimic these same exercises by simply grabbing one hand with the other and applying force yourself. This can be an easier and safer way to get started strengthening your wrists with almost no risk of injury. The last exercise I recommend is working on the deviation of the wrists, that side-to-side movement. Even though this motion isn't too common in most calisthenics exercises, make sure to cover your bases and train all sides of your wrists. This will make sure they're as strong as they can be and lessen the chances of being injured in the future. I recommend placing your hands just in front of your knees for this one and rolling them gently up and down from your knuckles to the sides of your hands, either with your fingers slightly extended or in a fist. There are so many variations of these exercises, and I think all of them have a certain level of merit, so don't be afraid to experiment against a wall, applying pressure with your own hands, or trying out extra exercises like finger pulses, wrist circles, or variations with different hand positions. At the end of the day, it's about finding the exercises that feel most comfortable for you and achieve results. I hope that by applying these basic wrist strengthening exercises, you can relieve your pain and keep training feeling better and stronger than ever. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss another calisthenics video from me. And make sure you comment below your calisthenics goals so we can all cheer each other on. If you want to learn how to perform your first perfect push-up and master one of the most fundamental exercises in calisthenics, click on this video here, and I'll see you over there. Onward.